Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Insight with Tayo. I'm your host, Tayo Aina, and today I have a very special guest in the house with me. And trust me, don't move an inch because you are going to be well entertained. Well, my guest today has his bachelor's degree in microbiology. He got that from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, where he grew up. He's an entertainment enthusiast. He's a musical artist and a musical director. He has hit songs like African Woman, Love Like a River, and he has done a couple of collaborations with well-known artists. An example, an ex-30BG artist called Yonda. He did that and titled the song So Walk More. Join me as a welcome to Insight with Tayo Innocent Itwa, popularly known as Bodega.
Yes,
Bodega,
yes,
welcome to Insight with Tayo.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on the show, man. A lot of good stuff. I've been watching. I've been a fan for a while now, and it's a pleasure to be on the show today. Thanks for having me on your show. Yeah.
I know like you're a very busy person. You're always from here to there, but I'm actually the opportunity to be able to catch you and bring you down here to make this happen.
Yeah, that's had a good time. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here. To be honest, you know, to share my ideas and life and stories and everything with you. I'm so glad and so honored to be on the show today.
Thank
If
you.
you don't know, follow Insightwithtayo on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, on what's the other one?
X.
On X. On X. Thank you.
So today we'll be discussing the evolution of Afrobeats and how it has changed the music industry globally. Bodega loves music, loves entertainment industry, and he wants to share his view on how Afrobeat has really transformed how the global audience look at music from the African perspective. Bodega, should I call you Bodega or should I call you Bobby?
Oh, I mean, Bobby is from the word bodega itself, so whichever one works. If you're
Okay,
calling me bodega, the B in bodega stands for Bobby. So
okay. So either ways, both are accepted.
yeah, both are accepted.
Okay. So looking at Afrobeat from its inception, how would you describe it and how has it changed the way people listen to it globally?
Mm. So first off, I'll start off saying Afrobeats is it's been something that has for decades now. It's been there. It's been I call Afrobeat as like a gold, like gold. It's been something that it's been there. It's been something that people admire, but it hadn't just hit the global scenes due to a lot of things, and this has come with Black history and a lot of things, but it all needed time for people to really understand where where Afrobeat like is originated from. And I think we have gotten to a time in life where now we get to see the product of it and why it's very important as a genre. So Afrobeat I'll say from the 60s, from the days I know the originator has been Fela Nicola Kuti, and ever since then he's been somebody who was doing his thing, was the originator of Afrobeat, but it was really hard from his time because Afrobeat is not it was I'll say was not how it was now. It was like he just doing his stuff, and but the problem was bringing it to the international audience was I wouldn't really say it was much of a challenge, but it was something he faced like live challenges, like because the kind of music he was putting out there, he was more of he was more of fighting for his country. He was more of being real, singing his like reality and stuff. So It was not easy for him bringing out. So it wasn't really like something that the international audience could really recognize. But he was still doing shows all over Europe, America, and stuff. So it's been there. But now people are getting to discover what Afrobeat is and why. Reasons like people have been, doing like the recent artists we have who's been putting the globe, like who've been putting the continent on the globe. Artists like, we have the likes of them Wiz, them David, them Burner. We have also the like them Angelina Kidjo, who've been, we've been getting a bunch of recognitions from the Grammys, from international awards and EMAs and all this stuff. So I feel like the how do I put it? I feel like the essence of international collaborations is something that's really helped Afrobeat to hit the global scene.
So when you let's go back to Fela Adepola Kuti.
Yeah,
He's definitely a legend in
yeah,
the industry, and he's been able to put it out there
yeah.
back in the days. Back then, you made mention of something like he was talking about his pain,
Right,
like he was talking about what was going on in the country,
right.
but using the local drums
Hmm.
to pass the message with the beat and everything. So was that how was like are you trying to say like just from that perspective? So from Fela's perspective, right? It came from him feeling some kind of way about the way the government was acting and using the African beats and everything to match the music up. And was that how the source of Afrobeat really started?
I'll say yes because I listen to a lot of Fela Adepola Kuti's records, and that's been my pioneer. That's been somebody I have listened to a lot, and with the way he produces his music, the way he makes his music, so many things happen all at once. If we look at it now, in these recent years, we see that most of the songs we have online are either 2 or 3 minutes. Fela was different, and he's still different. Ask me why. Fela is someone that the minimum song you see of Fela is 6 minutes. It's 5 minutes. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't just making music. Fela was putting out his his um his heart. He was putting out his sound, everything all in one. He would let the instruments roll. You hear the drums, you hear the congas, you hear the backup vocalists, you hear everything sound, especially the instruments, the sax. When you listen to the sax, what do you hear? You hear you hear sounds of pain, sounds of the cry of people. Why? He directs his music. He does all these things. So what? He was intentional.
So like a lot of people say even right now they be like the best way because like African countries are bedeviled with so much um corruption, underdevelopment. Like a lot of people are crying,
Right.
and people right now are saying back then Fela, the music was a way where Fela could express himself and let the global audience know what the government, how the government were treating the people. Do African artists right now do they still pass that message the way it does? Do they still pass the message of pain to the people? Because I also remember like artists like African China, Idris Abdul Karim, they express themselves in a way that dictates to the general public or the audience that there is something going on in Africa. You guys look down back there. So do musical artists right now from that part of the world do they still pass that kind of message?
I feel like I feel like now the it has changed. Things
Why?
have changed now because, and honestly, I wouldn't really blame artists of now, like as to how they put out their sound because now it is people wanna people are moved by what they see now.
Okay.
So if you are putting in being an independent or whatever or label or stuff, people are like an average, like let's say from the youth from let's say from 20, from the age 20 from to the year 35. I'll say everyone, like I'll say like 40-50% of people are always with their phones. And what do they want to see? They want to be entertained. And if you want to be entertained, nobody really wants to listen about what is going on. Like really want people want to enjoy, people want to dance, people want to listen to fun stuff. So I feel like things have changed from times, and artists also want to be relevant. They don't want to bore their audience. As much as there are a lot of things to talk about, a lot of people will rather focus on your art, focus on creating, focus on putting out quality stuff which their audience want to listen to. So things have really changed from the times of, like you said, them African China and Idris Abu Karim, where people want to listen to real music. But now, check it, look at it. Most of your hit songs, they don't even last more than a month on a playlist. Why? Because a lot of quality music it's always been put out. So it's not really easy for you to have that time to say you want to just put out what you really like. Now, music has gotten to an era where you have to really put out the current trend, the current sound, in order for you to stay relevant in the industry. Putting out music it's not easy, it's not fun, and it costs a lot of money to put out stuff. So you want to put your money out to promote what people really want to listen to. So it's not like the time of Fela where Fela was just doing him. He was doing him, he was enjoying himself, even in pain. He was making music. Music stood for who he was. He always sings what he feels, how he feels it. It sounds in his voice, in the instruments, in the backup vocalist, and everything. Music was original, but now a whole lot of influenced the sound. So I'll say that Afrobeat has upgraded. Yes, we are internationally recognized now, but a lot has been taken away from it. That's the element, like the original element of it has been taken away
So
now.
so let's go to you personally, Bodega. You're also an Afrobeat artist, right? Like, what inspired you to go into music? Like, what's the push for you?
So first off, growing up as a kid, I grew up from a family of five. I'm the last. I grew up listening to a lot of music. What I did most, I felt like most of my time at home is either the first or the second or the third. Everyone was always, they always had something to play in the house, and I was the last. I didn't really have to say. I always had to listen. I always had to listen to whatever I listen, like whatever is playing. So I felt like over the years, I was this guy that I just knew a lot about sounds, a lot about music. Because I grew up listening to a lot of music. I listened to a lot of 90s music, old school music, and I feel like that part of me was what influenced me as like when I decided in 2019 to start making music. I feel like my teenage and my early stages in life, the kind of sounds that I listen to, I feel like it's what influenced me today to decide that I want to make music. Because honestly, before I started making music, I thought it was a really, really hard process in order to make music. But then I made a lot of friends I'll say from 2019 until this very time. I made a lot of people in the like during those years, and I felt like I learned a lot. I've been learning. I've been taking my time to really learn, and I felt like there's honestly nothing really stopping me in order to put out sound. So in 2019 was officially when I started to put out music. That's when I officially decided that I wanted to start putting out music, that I wanted to make music. Because I saw myself as somebody who likes to listen. Like, I listened to a lot of music, but I didn't really know if I was going to make music until 2019.
But coming back to our discourse, now let's move a little bit away from let's talk about this. So I remember back then when I was in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria. I grew up in Shomolu to be precise, and that's Lagos. And I remember back then, kids my age at that time, we felt the way to get away from poverty
Mm.
was through soccer. Let's play football. We could get a contract. Someone can sign us, and we could just play football in this particular club, Real Madrid, Chelsea. Let's just do something. But I feel like right now, kids are drifting away from soccer and going into music. I feel that music is the avenue for them to be more proficient and is more profitable to them. How do you see that trend of now young adults in Nigeria or Africa looking into music more? How has that, what's your take on that?
So I'll say in Lagos, I'll say in Nigeria in general, we have a lot of talented people in different fields in general. Be it you're looking for the best doctors, best nurses, best artists, or anything. Check it. Check on the map. Check anything. You see, there's someone from Lagos. From not say Lagos. There's someone from Nigeria there on the list. Check. So Nigerians are people where you put them anywhere in the world. It will take them time. They will find a way. They will survive. They're like what they go through. Being a Nigerian is what they go through is something where if you come out of it, I don't see yourself going back to poverty unless you don't know what you're doing. So they always find a means to survive by point blank. So you said something about in the early stages, people were looking at soccer as a means to to like elevate from poverty, and now people see music as it. So soccer is something where we have a lot of talents, but I would say it boils down to our infrastructures, our like how our soccer itself is being handled. If we live in a country where the league is not really like top notch, has a lot of quality, has a lot of audience where people can actually look into, where scouts can really watch the league and see how are they going to be discovered. It's not going to be easy to discover. So I feel that plays a major influence on the impact of on the talents that we have out there. They're not going to be easily discovered. But Nigerians are people where you can meet a Nigerian where he does six things at once. You can meet a Nigerian where he plays soccer, he makes music, he studied something, he studied his BSc, he's in microbiology, or he's a doctor. Also, he can do six things at once. Why? He's trying to survive. So, yes, I do agree in the early stages where people play soccer now, everybody's looking to music. Why? Because music now, Afrobeat is in the global scene. What are they going to do? They're going to switch. Some of them didn't even know that they know how to make music until now. Because why? They are able to diversify. So now they are at the stage where they are always, not even at the stage, they are always fighting for their life to survive. An average man wakes up today not even knowing what he's going to eat the next hour. So he has to fight to survive for his life. If he's not going to make it in this field, he has to find something else to put food on his table. So I feel like now Afrobeat is in a time where a lot of people are putting out stuff in order to hit the global scenes, which is not really easy, but still check most of the things that come out from there. Quality stuff. I can bet you that most of the people in the diaspora, what they really watch is what people from home put out. Most of the raw talents from home, what they put out is what people get entertained with over here in diaspora.
This reminds me of, like, a particular person. I remember one time I was just like listening to different people sing songs on, like, on Instagram and just like do their thing, do their freestyle. I remember bumping up to this guy on Instagram, and I I could I could feel his passion for music, and I could feel how good he was back then. And I remember back then, this was like during COVID-19, and I was really inspired by his music and how he was pushing it. And I remember back then I kind of like just sent him a DM just randomly, and I'm like, oh, like how's your musical going? And I like the way you're putting your stuff out there, and I would like to send you a particular amount of money. It was like, what? It was so surprised. I just wanted to support him because I liked the way he was
What you
putting his
say?
stuff out
Right.
there. And I did support him. And a particular time, we had a conversation. He told me that, going back, looking at his Instagram, he used to play soccer and everything, but he discovered, as you said, music was another option because soccer was not, you
Really?
know,
Yeah, being yeah.
yeah. So right now, I see him. He has flew to. He's grown right now. Right now, he's in South Africa. He did a collab with Shea Vibes, right? Which
Hmm.
is out there already. And I saw him also posting that he's been doing good. His music has been going global right now, and he has them on the playlist. And I jammed to the majority of the songs. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, looking at artists like Zlatan Ibili as well. When you look at Zlatan's history, he used to play soccer,
Right.
right? So he'll be like, he's a very good dribbler, but he liked music.
Right.
So he discovered, as you were saying rightfully, that a lot of all these individuals who were talented in the parts of soccer, but there was no infrastructure, there was no way they would be noticed. But with music, if you sing and you put it out there, if it's accepted, you're good. You're good. You're good to go.
Right.
So I guess that's how it stands, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually true. And music is, yes, you still have to do a lot of promotions and music, but music is something where you can put out stuff, something dope, and your audience or you think you could put out something really dope, a really good sound, and it travels. It doesn't even need a visa. In order for you to play international soccer, you have to leave your motherland, go to Europe, get signed by an academy or something, play for them before you can start to play like for professional football. You can make music from in your comfort zone. You can be anywhere, Lagos, Nigeria, and stuff. You can put out some good content, and you can be recognized because somebody could just be in the comfort of his home and see your stuff, and from there, boom, can get a record label. You can have a deal, and so music is just like I would say with what with what the current is being recognized for in terms of the international collaborations that we have with the current artists putting Afrobeats on the map. In terms of our songs doing well, like our songs that is not they are not even collaborations. Artists putting out good stuff that are globally recognized. I felt like that has made the international audience really recognize what is like what Afrobeat is really all about, and it's now a means of also a means of survival for the average Nigerian who has music as an inspiration,
Hmm.
as an inspiration to go into as a path to life. So
So
yeah,
like looking at artists like Afrobeat artists like Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, what do you think they have done to make Afrobeat acceptable globally?
one, they have released times and times over time global hit tracks. There was not even collaborations, singles that has now been globally recognized as global hits. That's one. Two, they've also shown international artists that the lifestyle you live out here, what you do, is also done out there. It's just that you guys don't really recognize that these things go on there. It's fun out there. You also see what you do here, we do it here, and there are a lot of people out there that do this same lifestyle too. So now over here in diaspora, people see Africans, see Nigerians as okay, these people actually ball. These people actually live life. They actually know what's up.
Hmm.
If you talk about the sound, they got quality sound. You talk about spending money, trust me, as much as everything that's going on in Nigeria, we still got people who steady ball in Nigeria non-stop. So now is people are getting to recognize. That's why now you see one of the things you see in December now, you see everybody want to go home for their
Get to
December.
December, right?
Yeah. Why? Because it's a whole lot going on. Like the whole, like everybody from here is back home. And now people from here are like, oh, it's actually lit out there. It's like super lit. So now check the prices of tickets. Check those things in December. You probably know it's not easy if you don't get your tickets early. It's not even easy to get a ticket. Because why? Even Americans themselves want to go out there.
Hmm.
And why? Why so? It still boils down to Afrobeats.
Hmm. The music is
The
acceptable.
music. When you go out, what do you listen to? You listen to the music. You listen to the sound.
So are you trying to say that even in as much as those artists talk about Davido, Whiskey, they've been able to let the global audience know that come back home. There's something big
Exactly.
over there.
That is the main goal of what.
Cause like sorry, because I even saw like during December last year, Bono Boy was like in Nigeria. He was like doing his thing. Like a lot of people were seeing stuff and everything. So that's to show that they don't really, not like they don't enjoy coming over to the States or traveling abroad, but they're trying to like sell Africa, sell Nigeria as a market as well.
Right. But I'll say even them David, Burner, Wiz, they have the most fun in December in Nigeria. That is where the fun is. Nowhere else. That's where the fun is. That's where everybody want to be. It's not like they're doing it like because they want people to come back home. That's where they know they have to be at that time of the year. That's where the fun is. And that's why you see a lot of international artists also come out there. Because the top dogs in the Afrobeat scene are out there enjoying themselves. An average American and Nigerian, who has worked his whole life from January to November is out there. Everybody is balling, everybody's enjoying themselves out there. So that's where the fun is. So but I still feel like Afrobeat, the music itself, plays a huge influence why everybody want to go back home. Because if the music is not lit, fuck, what is everybody like? What do I want to go do there?
So you personally, like, how do you see Afrobeat in the next decade, in the next 10 years? How do you see the music in Africa? What do you think would have happened? Like, looking 10 years back, we were not here, and 10 years from now, how do you see African music, the global scene?
Yeah, so I'll say the last 10 years, there's been massive progress from being like we being heard to this very day. There's been progress, and in the next 10 years, I still see progress, but the only problem that I'm seeing right now is what I observe is it's not really two things. One, for upcoming artists to hit the scenes, it's really expensive for an average artist to decide to say he wanna like put out music and do the whole promotion, putting out things. So it's really hard because everything is really expensive now. Then secondly, a lot of artists now are they are over, like I won't say overpriced, but it's not easy for you to just book like an A or B list artist now. It's really expensive. So I feel that's gonna be something if we don't really control, it might have some form of impact on this genre.
Hmm.
Because a lot of artists now, I think it's very hard now for you to even get an artist for 10K.
10K dolls?
Yes, it's hard. Unless maybe the artist is in your state at that time. And he might be like, okay. But if he's in another state or he's not around, you can't get him for 10K. Because alone, he's gonna think about, okay, he's gonna buy his flight ticket and stuff, and he don't want to come to your state for just 3 or 4K that's gonna come to his pocket. I feel like a lot of artists now, the price tag is really affecting, it's really affecting people putting out, you know, like putting out like quality work, like giving their audience what they want, coming out to perform and like do like a lot of shows. If they don't get the right booking, they're not gonna come.
So you mean that if this is not controlled in the next 10 years, it would affect?
It might have a negative impact. I mean, Afrobeat is still good music, but if we don't, there was a time it was hip hop, it was reggae, and there was Afrobeat came up, and now there's hip hop, there's reggae, there's Afrobeat, but those genres like are and still big, right? Afrobeat is doing well now, but if we don't take time, that's going to be the case. It's just life. Times changed and things. So if the fans and the audience can't really have access to these artists, like to listen to their sound, shows and stuff, promoters trying to reach out to artists and can't really have a deal sealed for them to bring them over, then what is going to happen? The music is not going to circulate. And what is going to happen? It's going to affect it in a negative way. So if we don't control it, start being accessible, start doing it for not just the money. I'm not saying, yeah, you put out your stuff, you have to get paid to perform, which is fine. But also you need to be considering that, sometimes some states you go to as an artist, you might not really pull the crowd that you want to pull. So a promoter also has this. He has to do his own calculations that okay, this artist maybe he's only going to be able to pull out 200, 300 capacity, right? And you're asking for a couple of thousands where even if he does the ticket sales and everything, he might not even make money. No promoter wants to go into the deal with making a loss all the time. If he makes a loss once or twice, he probably wouldn't want to go again. And if you're not getting promoters getting you booked, what is going to happen?
You're going down.
Yeah, and it's gonna hit the genre itself because now promoters are not getting booking. Artists are not gonna. Not all artists have the capacity to create their shows like via the venue and sell their tickets themselves. That's the job of a promoter. So it's gonna be the top artists, the ones who, regardless of anything, the fans will rock and roll with them. That are gonna set out shows. But the average artist who has a audience that is doing well but not as strong as an A-list will struggle.
Hmm.
They will struggle because now he also is looking for 20, 30, 40K. But you cannot, the truth of the reality is you can't bring out a crowd that's going to bring the promoter back that amount of money. And nobody is going to go into business in the mindset of losing. But they don't realize that. So if we don't come to a realization of a time where, okay, that we know that, okay, we're not doing these numbers. A lot of stream farming too. A lot of people, look at it. A lot of people do stream farms now. That's the real thing.
What street farms?
Stream farms
What stream farms?
inflate the amount of streams that they're supposed to have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you look at a lot of artists doing millions of streams, but then when they do a show, it's only 100, 200 people that's there. If you're doing millions and you look at the catalog and you say this state, they had 2 million streams and this and that, but you come to that state and you do a show, you can't even bring out 100 people.
But wait, like, how do these artists, do they make more money via shows or via streams? As a musical artist, how do you think that balances up?
I feel like they make more money from shows. They make more money from shows because look at what they charge now. You can do a tour. You can tour 20 states, and if you let's say on average you're making, let's say you're charging 20K, you're charging a promoter 20K for a state, and you just do 20 states. That's how much are we talking about? That's 400,000. So do the math. I mean, streams do. You make money from streams, but I don't think you make if an artist is like really doing well on the global scene. If he's putting out quality sound, if he's being listened to, you tour back to back. You're traveling. You're doing an American, a North American tour. You are doing a Europe tour. You're doing a tour in different continents. You make more money. You can easily make 1 million in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 million like it's nothing. Which is actually going on now with a lot of artists. That's what they're doing right now.
So I know like time is not on our side, and I really appreciate you for coming. This question, let's just go to my final question to you, Bodega. We have like young adults aspiring to go into music. I remember back in the days, it'd be like, oh, go to a musical school, go to musical college, this is that. But like, what word do you have for young adults who are aspiring to be a musical artist? Like, how do you think, or how do you want them to pack themselves to be that person that they want to be? What do you think they need to do to be a musical artist?
One thing I'll say is don't change your sound for anything. Always be original in what you do. Always be original. How you feel, put it in a song. People people really admire, people really recognize, you know, when a sound is organic. The more organic it is, the more attractive it's gonna be. Don't try to say, okay, I think the current vibe now is Rema has the greatest song. I want to sound like Rema or this Bono. Just be you. Be unique.
Hmm.
Identify your sound
And stick to it.
and stick to it. But also pay attention on how you can also blend your sound with different things. But have like something unique about you. Don't say because this is working for this person, this is what I need to do that's going to work for me. We
Hmm.
have different heads. We have all fingers are not equal, but make sure the originality and what you're doing your music for, let it speak for you.
Hmm. Be
Let it speak for
original.
you. Speak your truth. There's no two of anybody in this world. There's a reason why it's only one of you. God know what He was doing when He was creating everybody. It's billions of us, but there's no two people. It's only one of you. This your thumbprint is just you that got it. Nobody can replicate your thumbprint. So that means there's something unique about you that nobody can take from you, and that's your power.
Hmm.
So God has given each and every one of us this power where we need to realize that this is what I need to use in order to sell my market to the world. So always stick to being original. Don't try to sound like any other person, and stay true to the game, and try to you know keep creating, keep making music. If you really have the passion for it and you keep like you really believe this is your true calling, keep making music. Don't stop.
Um, that's an advice from Bodega. I feel like in life, originality stands you out. Originality makes you unique and stands you out from a lot of people. Because I agree with you. Because like I feel like if you try to imitate someone, how long do you want to imitate them for?
Right.
So you have to stand out and let people know you for your identity and your uniqueness. On that note, we are calling it a day today on Insight with Tayo. I'm sure you all listened and heard my very own guest, Bodega, his take on Afrobeat and how Afrobeat has been able to revolutionize the musical industry in the world and also put Afrobeat on the global scene. If you're not following me, follow me on Insight with Tayo on X, that's the Twitter. Follow me on Insight with Tayo on Instagram, Insight with Tayo on YouTube. Till I come your way again, have an amazing day and remain blessed. I remain your host, and I'll always remain your host, Tayo Aina. Thank you and stay safe. Bye.